Sugars.
No, that's a carbohydrate, isn't it, Dr. Hazel?
You're the teacher's pet, that's it, isn't it, Dr. Hazel?
Hello people, it's your boy Alhan and I'm joined by my good friend Chunkz and this is Bridging the Gap. Today's episode is all about nutrition.
Yes, it's going to be very exciting. It's about things that we haven't learnt in school, which we wish we did. And we are here joined by Dr.
Hazel Wallace.
Hazel, there you go, amazing.
Hi Dr. Hazel.
Hello.
We're saying Chunkz, what do you know about nutrition?
I've actually got into nutrition in the last year.
You know what, if you actually break down the words, there's actually no nuts involved. Well, they can be, but it's more than that.
Yeah, it's way more than that.
But this is something we never really got taught in school.
No, it's not.
And something I'm wanting to learn more about. You're currently on this weight loss journey, and we're both actually intermittent fasting. Yeah.
Intermediate.
That's
we are.
stupid.
No, it's silly. It's silly, it's funny. But we're here joined by Dr. Hazel. Can you tell us a bit about yourself?
Yes, so I am a doctor, I'm a medical doctor working in the NHS, and I'm also a nutritionist and founder of an educational platform, The Food Medic, where I chat about nutrition, health and medicine.
Sick.
Right, so you know about nutrition then. I'm gonna
All right.
talk to you.
Yeah, well, we're about to find out everything we don't know. All right, so we might think we know everything about food and dieting, but we should start with the basic stuff. Yeah. So, Dr. Hazel, what are calories?
So a calorie is a unit of energy, and obviously you see on packs of foods and things like that, like 100 calories, what does that mean? It essentially means the amount of energy you can get from food or drink. I think we often say, or we think that calories are bad, but we need calories to basically survive, so they're really important for us.
I got you. So it's like petrol.
Wait. So having higher calories doesn't mean that it's worse for you then?
Not necessarily. So obviously
I was lied to my whole life.
So basically we need calories just to, do things like our eyelids blinking, getting up, walking around, making a cup of tea, chatting on your phone, things like that. Everything uses calories. So we need a basic number. Obviously, if we go above what we need, more than we're expending or using in a day, then we can end up having too much, and that can lead to weight gain and other problems in the future.
Got you. So for every bit of calorie that comes in, you're gonna have to burn it off at some point, innit?
Yeah, essentially.
I got you. All right. But you know how many calories you take in a day?
Yeah, I used to take about 5 racks.
Yeah.
I took way too much. Yeah, back in the days I used to have.
There'd be a moped come to my house with food about 3-4 times.
Yeah, all the time. But
sometimes
I reckon,
1 a.m. sometimes.
Goodness me. Yeah, bro. I love the pizza. I love the fatty foods.
Change now.
It's changed now. Yeah. I'm having like 1,800 a day now.
What's the
The recommended amount is 2,500, but it all depends on how you are as a person. If you're active, I'm teaching stuff today, aren't I? I need to chill out. It's about Dr. Hazel, it's not about me. But yeah, it's all about how active you are, right?
Absolutely. It really depends. It depends on your age, your sex, how much activity you're doing.
Oh, mashing out.
Yeah, absolutely. So I wouldn't say that there's like an absolute number. Some people need a little bit more, some people need a little bit less.
Yeah.
How much do you reckon you have a day?
I don't know. I actually don't know. I never read calories.
Well,
I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing, but...
Do you know how much calories you have a day?
I don't. It's not something that I typically recommend unless that people are really keen on tracking their calories, because we know that just tracking calories doesn't always lead to the best health gains. Yeah. What I try to get people
to focus on... It can be an unhealthy habit, if you don't mind me.
Absolutely. But then some people like yourself might find it really useful. So it really depends again.
Yeah. Fitness Pal. Tell me, slap it in there.
Oh yeah, you type in how much you've had,
Proper.
And it tells you you're... I've seen that.
It doesn't really say that. It just says whether you're on a calorie deficit or not. Yeah. Can you actually tell us what a calorie deficit means?
So calorie deficit, like we were mentioning, just means that you're consuming less calories than you're...
You're actually consuming 700 calories less than your daily amount that is.
You're talking...
Than what you
have
need.
1,800
and
calories
so that would lead to weight loss. And so we want people to be in a calorie balance. When they're consuming enough energy, then they're expending, and so we get equilibrium, so it's all equal.
So will my friend Chunkz here die anytime soon?
Is he?
Is he going to die anytime soon?
No, unless you're having symptoms where you feel like you're super hungry all the time, or you're getting any shakes because you're low in glucose and things like that, and that's when we'd be concerned, or you're feeling really lethargic, low in energy.
I'm fine. I don't know why you
Well,
tried to
that's
put
good.
that bad energy in the air. to be fair.
No, not at all. But you take less calories than your...
That's fine, bro. I'm absolutely fine. I'm perfect.
I'm learning.
No, but you don't mention stuff about me that.
All right. Do you get the wobbles?
No, I do not. I feel perfect. Look, can you see the leg?
Sometimes if I have a busy day and I forget to eat, I get quite anxious and I start wobbling. Yeah.
Yeah, so that will be like a symptom of low blood sugar, which is why it's important that we try to eat regular meals.
I hear you.
There you go. All right, so we know that there's something called proteins, carbs. Yeah, what else is there?
Marbs. Marbella.
Never mind. So what is a protein?
Yeah, so exactly what you said. There's 3 macronutrients: carbs, fats, protein. I think when we talk about protein, lots of people think that we just need it for building muscle or going to the gym. But actually, protein's really important for loads of things: our bones, our ligaments, even our immune system. So we talk a lot about antibodies at the moment. Our antibodies are made of protein, so we need enough protein just to be healthy, really.
And then grams depend on the person.
Grams depend on the person, your body weight, but again, try to have a good source of protein at every meal and plus or minus snacks, and I think that's a good rule of thumb.
What is a good source of protein?
Yeah, what
Is it
foods
usually
are
meat-
very good for protein?
meats
Yeah,
and stuff?
so meat's a really good source of protein: meat, chicken, fish, but also eggs, dairy. If you don't eat any of that, things like tofu, beans and lentils are also good sources of protein.
What's a carbohydrate?
So basically, carbohydrates are another macronutrient, so it means that we kind of need a large amount of it. And carbohydrates are our main source of energy, so the main fuel we use just to do daily activities, to do any sport, things like that. We can largely separate them into simple carbohydrates like sugars and complex carbohydrates, and that would be things like starches, so sweet potato, potatoes, whole grains, cereals, that kind of thing.
Carbs are quite heavy, aren't they? You can feel quite tired after you've had a heavy carb meal, no?
You can, absolutely. They're really important for energy, but they can leave you sluggish if you're having a lot of them. Ideally, you're going for the high fiber types of carbohydrates. Fiber is really important. It doesn't give us any energy, but it's really good for our gut health, our heart health, even our brain health.
Yeah.
So
A lot of diets, keto diet's a good example, but a lot of diets focus on taking carbs out, but you need the right amount, right?
absolutely. So ketogenic diets, like you said, are very low carbohydrate diets. A lot of people promote them for various reasons, whether it's weight loss, blah, blah, blah. When we look at the research, it doesn't seem like it's any better than any other diet when we kind of remove other kind of macronutrients. So actually, it's not something I really recommend. It works for some people, but again, like I said, carbohydrates are really important for fuel, fiber. Also, there's loads of vitamins and minerals in there. So personally, I think don't forego the carbs.
What's your favorite carb?
Probably like a croissant of some sort.
Mine's a Lamborghini.
Carb.
Yeah. I also what favorite car was. You do the next one?
Sorry about him. Yeah. So we've learned quite a bit about carbs and protein. What are vitamins? That's one thing I actually don't know much about, I'll be very honest.
Have you heard our American cousins call it vitamins?
What are vitamins?
So we spoke about macronutrients, and vitamins are micronutrients, and so that means we need them in really small amounts. We get them mostly from our food, apart from vitamin D, which is made by sunlight in our skin. They're really important. They're really important to help us function. They do kind of everything in our body. So it's important that we get a really wide, balanced, healthy diet. You don't need to supplement unless you're removing things from your diet. So kind of trying to get a really colorful diet. We talk about eating the rainbow, but that essentially just means getting lots of fruits and vegetables, whole grains, protein like we spoke about, and of course fats as well.
Yeah. And if people don't get all their vitamins, can they take like supplements or tablets?
Yeah, you can, absolutely. But I think people get carried away with supplements and they think like, I need to take a multivitamin, I need to take vitamin C. If you're getting a healthy, balanced diet with everything in it, you don't need to really worry about supplementation. Like I said, the only exception is vitamin D. In the UK, we get hardly any vitamin D because it's always cloudy. So you should be supplementing up until like March, April time when the sun starts to come back out. Okay, so now that you guys hopefully know the basics, I want to talk you through some kind of common misconceptions and questions that I get asked. And I guess the first one is, how do you find food and your mood? Do you think there's a connection there?
Guaranteed, 100%. I feel like when I haven't had some sugars in me for a long time, then I'm on a slump in terms of just mood. I feel like sometimes I do need to delve into the snacks cupboard in order to feel better, because food is mood, in my opinion.
You agree?
Yeah, I feel...
Unless I'm talking rubbish right now, you tell me. I'm just learning.
I think the best way to describe the food-mood connection or the gut-brain connection is when you're really excited about something or you're really nervous for something and you get that feeling in your tummy. That's essentially your brain and your gut talking to one another.
Cravings, isn't it?
And just as it works that way, it also works the other way. So what we put into our gut also speaks to our brain. And what we know from lots of different research, and we've put it all together, is that a healthy, balanced diet, which we typically call the Mediterranean diet, that's really colorful, lots of olive oil, avocados, nuts and seeds, a little bit of meat and some fish in there as well. That's a really healthy diet, and it seems to support our mood. Yeah.
I'm Mediterranean myself.
So you know all about the Mediterranean diet.
Yeah, if I was on a plate, I'd take it right off. The thing is, like you said, your mood speaks to your gut, your mind speaks to your gut. I often find that if I'm in a bad mood or stressed about something, I'll rush to order some junk food or something. But if I'm in a good mood, in a jolly mood, I'll spend time, I might cook something myself, something more colourful. I always find that, salads and things like that is when I'm in a good mood, but if I'm feeling quite dull, then my food will be quite dull as well.
Yeah.
I'm glad to taste it. Yeah, always. You get me?
Insights.
Don't mind a tomato.
And the next question I guess I have for you guys is, when it comes to like cooking, do you think that frozen food is less healthy than fresh, or do you not really?
I think it depends.
I think it all depends on the food that you're talking about, because
I think frozen peas and that is calm if you have frozen vegetables. But I try to stay away from frozen.
you want everything fresh.
Yeah, I do like fresh food. Even if you buy a fish on a day from the fishmongers, or then keep it in the freezer, you can taste the difference. I know you're talking about bird's eye or chicken nuggets and that kind of stuff, but I try and cook things while it's fresh. I don't like things in packets.
So you're right in that, like it really depends. But when it comes to fresh fruit and veg, for example, actually buying it frozen can sometimes be more nutritious than fresh, because when you've got fresh food, when it's picked and then it goes to the supermarket and it's on the shelf for ages, it loses nutrients. So in some cases, unless you're like picking it from your garden, it can be fresher if you get it from the freezer.
That's mad.
Yeah, can I grow apples in my garden?
Yeah. So
Do you?
No, I'm joking.
Yeah. My mum has frozen berries and stuff for her smoothies.
Yeah.
And she doesn't use ice cubes because they're already frozen, so it's already like very cold.
And it's cheaper, right?
Yeah. So I'm gonna go home and tell my mum that she's been doing the right thing for a long time. Well, Mum, if you're watching, well done.
Well done.
More nutrients.
To be fair, I actually freeze my blueberries.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
So what about so that's a good example of frozen produce, but what about things like, ready meals that are frozen or
That's when it gets scary.
yeah.
That's when it's a bit of a grey area, because we know that ready meals and processed meals tend to be like a lot higher in saturated fat, salt, added sugar, and those kind of things that we probably should eat less of. Look, it's fine if you have it every once in a while, but if you're having it every day, probably something you want to kind of pull back on. But again, like I said, we all have busy lives, so if you want to have the odd freezer meal, the odd freezer pizza, it's not the end of the world.
What's your favourite frozen meal, Dr. Hazel?
If I can include ice cream in the category, then it would be Ben & Jerry's.
Smart.
Ben & Jerry's. Ben & Jerry's what?
Fish food.
Oh.
For me, it's the
Old
birthday cake.
school.
I do like that one.
Yeah, I do like the birthday cake.
Yeah.
Cookie dough.
And so kind of on the topic of carbohydrates, do you guys think that going low carb is the right way to kind of lose weight or be healthier?
For me, talking from experience, I actually did lower my carbs. I think because I lost my mind. Back in the days, I used to eat too much carbs. Like being from a Somali household, like most of our food is just pasta, rice, and just bread. You know what I mean? There's just constant carbs involved. Whereas carbs shouldn't be the main source of your food, in my opinion. I think it should be like protein and vegetables and stuff. So
Should complement the meal,
there you
not
go.
be the
Should
meal.
complement the meal, not be the meal.
My dad actually used to
Change that.
eat bread with pasta.
See,
Yeah,
it's
mad,
just not
man.
right, is it?
That's
Yeah,
not.
but you eat garlic bread with pasta, don't you?
I don't eat garlic bread. I don't like garlic bread.
Yeah.
Nah.
I eat
Winds
pasta.
me up.
Is it?
Winds me up.
Why not?
But you
Everyone
both-
used to be friends with me in school just so they took my garlic bread at lunch. I know what it's like. I've been bullied.
You both make a really good point in terms of like, it's important in your diet, but maybe shouldn't be the whole
Exactly.
center of the plate. And I think carbohydrates are, like you mentioned earlier, really important for energy and fuel and fiber and things like that. But obviously, we need other nutrients in there. If we're eating too many carbs, we're going to push out all the protein and the fats and things like that.
It's quite bloating, isn't it? And you feel it in you anyway.
Yeah, so I guess as a, for people listening at home who want to think, well, how much carbohydrates should I have? If you think about a plate, maybe have a quarter of your plate protein, a quarter of your plate carbohydrates, and the rest should be really vegetables, fruits and vegetables. And so that way you're getting a good balance of all the nutrients, but you're not, getting too bogged down about numbers.
I feel like it depends on the day you have as well. So like, if you know you're going to just be chilling at home all day, you don't need to have loads of carbs because it's like, you're not going to be going through that much energy anyway. Whereas if I'm having like a heavy cardio day, I'll have a bit more carbs.
Yeah, he switched it up. That's mad.
Yeah,
He said the carbs are based on your day.
Of course it is.
Well, it's true.
I'm gonna burn them.
If you're training a lot, if you're going to the gym, if you're working out, you need more carbohydrates because carbohydrates are stored in our muscles.
Exactly.
When we work out, the carbohydrates are used to fuel that.
Yeah, I prefer the way you said it.
Yeah, that's my brother. But obviously, not everyone can be me. It's fine.
Everyone else is taken. Oh, I thought the
No,
Hazel.
man, she thinks we're crazy. But yeah, if we're talking about carbs, I reckon it all depends about the day you have.
Yeah,
This is the new one.
it's true.
No, I'm talking about.
No, it's true.
Yeah, no
Thank you
carbs
very
on a
much.
Tuesday.
No, but why that? Why is that? Yeah.
Why? Because I want to.
Okay, fair. You can choose. You can do your thing as well. To be fair.
No carbs on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
What's that about?
Don't go my bay on Wednesday.
That was a good one. But we can't go anywhere.
Yeah, 5 bags. Fine.
Yeah.
You know what, Dr. Hazel? Especially for a lot of young people watching, can be a bit tight on money, and often the cheaper alternative is just to get fast food or something ready-made. Yeah. So, what's your advice to people who are trying to eat healthier, but they might think it costs a lot more, or they might not feel like they have the budget to do so?
Yeah, it's a really good question. And I think, like, in my own experience, I started the food medic when I was in uni, and so I was like in a uni kitchen.
Cheeky plug.
On a student budget, didn't have a car to go to like a big, shop, so I was getting everything locally. And I think the biggest tips that I can say is start cooking. So you think that like getting the odd Deliveroo and things like that is cheap, or like picking up ready meals, it actually adds up. If you go to the shop every day, you spend way more than if you did a big shop at the start of the week. So you got to be smart and you got to plan ahead. Cooking like in big batches and then freezing some and using that as like leftover lunches is a really good way. So I tend to do like on a Sunday a big like pot of chili, and then I'll have that like for lunches throughout the week at work.
Do you know what's interesting as well, Dr. Hazel? You know, if you make a big batch of something, let's say on a Monday, and then you freeze it, when it's frozen in the freezer, you're actually saving all the nutrients, so that's more nutritious for you than if you were to cook it fresh every single day.
Thank you for sharing that with me. Thank you.
Is that the truth, or is he?
She said it earlier.
No, but it depends on what circumstance.
Well, is it the truth?
Well, yes. But I mean, it will stay in the fridge for 3 to 4 days fresh, and that's fine. But that brings me on to the next point, and that is like using your freezer, buying frozen fruit and veg so that you can put your hand to it in the mornings or whatever, and being smart about like what you're having. So if you are in a rush, you can make a really quick smoothie, for example, with frozen fruit like your mom does. You could add in some protein powder in there. You could add in some spinach, some seeds, some nuts.
Cheers.
Blend it all up. It's a balanced meal, good to go, and it's cheap.
I do like a smoothie.
Yeah, I actually love smoothies.
Yeah, and just thinking about like, when you do go grocery shopping, maybe buying from whatever's on offer. So seasonal veg tends to be on offer instead of buying whatever's trendy. And that would be my top tips. Also, maybe reducing meat consumption and things like that, because that's quite expensive. So
That's true.
you can bulk out even your meat dishes. So if you were making a beef chili, you could add in some like red kidney beans, for example, and that can give you more volume, more fiber, more nutrients.
I hear that. So, in summary, shop more, cook more. Well, not necessarily shop more, but just do a big shop and
I like less.
yeah, try delete the Deliveroos and the Uber Eats off your phone.
Yeah, do it for 14 days, see how you feel.
I know. I think I'll cry.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I relax. The thing is, when you said I was
Maybe
ready, I was
Deliveroo
listening.
once a week.
Oh God. I was
should be a
listening to
treat.
you,
It should
and
be a
when you
treat.
said when you said cook, my mind just went blank.
Really? Do you not cook ever?
No.
Yeah.
I'm hopeless in the kitchen. I could do a great cornflakes. At the ratio wise.
Yeah, ratio to milk.
Yeah, I think that's top 3. My Vimtos can't get better. Apart from that, yeah.
We need to upgrade that to like scrambled egg on toast at least.
Ooh, with a bit of smashed avocado.
Yeah.
Yep.
There you go, balanced meal.
Chili flakes.
You know what you're talking about?
Yeah. It's actually a good breakfast.
Yeah, it is.
And a quarter of your plate should be carbs.
Absolutely.
And a quarter protein, the rest veg.
So when it comes to cooking, even though you don't do very much of it, what meals do you really struggle with?
Making? Everything.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner?
Oh, okay.
I'm good at breakfast, and I can do a good lunch. But I don't know. No, I can do a good dinner, but I don't know what to cook for lunch. I'm good at steaks. I don't know what I'm bad at, because if I'm bad at something, then I wouldn't really try it.
Okay.
I can cook a good steak. I'm very good with eggs, and I like making pasta.
Well, that's a good start. But let's maybe talk about
do that.
some healthy meal
can cook pasta.
options for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Ah, cool.
So we talked about maybe having a smoothie at breakfast time. That's really quick and easy. Don't know how you guys feel about porridge oats.
I like porridge.
It's too repetitive.
Too repetitive.
Yeah.
Well, you could shake it up by adding in some like fruit, some seeds, grating in some apple and things like that.
It's just that base flavour.
Is anyone in the jailhouse
You're
watching?
not into it. Avocado on toast with some eggs. That's you got your carbohydrates, your fats, your protein in there.
Bit of smoked salmon?
Huh?
Bit of smoked salmon?
Bit of smoked salmon, yeah. If you want to go a little bit bougie, you can add in some smoked salmon.
It would suit your pink blazer.
Yeah, it would. I'm not sure you should be eating smoked salmon this color.
Yeah.
But,
That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
Raw.
Yeah.
And you're done. Yeah.
Salmonella.
Sashimi.
Yeah.
Isn't that,
Sashimi.
isn't salmon for chicken?
Huh? For everything.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get it from lots of uncooked.
If your name was Ella, it would be Salmonella. But it's not, it's Dr. Hazel.
No.
Yeah.
Cool. And then I guess thinking about lunchtime, you said that lunchtime is really tricky for you. I deal with
With
like a
busy
lot of
Hartman.
students. Personally, I eat all of my lunches at work, so lunch boxes are my best friend. Thinking about things that you can bulk cook, so chilies, like we mentioned earlier, stir fries. The beauty about like chilies and stir fries and curries is that you can kind of use. You could use like meat, you could use fish, you could use a non-animal source like chickpeas, lentils, things like that. They're really high in fiber and also good source of protein. Those things you can make and batch cook, and then you can just portion it out and have it with some like brown rice, some broccoli, some quinoa.
You reckon everyone should have 3 meals a day? Because I have 2.
Yeah, so I mean, ideally you would have 3 meals a day, especially if you're like a growing adult or a teenager. To keep your blood sugar levels stable. Some people, don't like to have breakfast, and that's fair enough. And if you feel good off it, then that's fine. I know for me, I wake up and I'm hungry, so I have to have breakfast.
is it?
Yeah.
I'll get heartburn before 11:30.
Oh, really? You need to have that looked at.
Yeah, you eat at 1 a.m., that's right.
Yeah, it's true.
I like to just wake up and I just like to defrost. I don't want to just eat straight
Oh
away.
my
You know
God.
what I mean? Yeah.
He likes to defrost. That's
Yeah, because I feel like my brain is, first thing I'm not thinking about is lunch.
Yeah.
Think about, let me actually remember who I am and get to know myself. And then
I think that's fine, but some people intentionally skip breakfast and then
No, that's not right.
they end up overeating at lunchtime.
yep, yes.
And so then that's...
Guilty. I'll hold my hands up. I have done that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So are you ready for a bit of a quiz to see how much you just took in?
Ooh, quiz? I
Yeah.
didn't know we were doing this.
Yeah, I just thought I'd spring
It's a
it
bit
on you.
cheeky. Let's try it.
Okay, let's go from the top. Can you tell me what the 3 macronutrients were?
Carbs, proteins. I'm gonna help you, man. I wanna help you.
Carbohydrates.
I said carbs,
Oh.
proteins.
No, but I'm correcting him.
Vitamins. No, that's micro.
No, that's macro. Carbohydrates, protein.
Sugars.
No, that's a carbohydrate, isn't it, Dr. Hazel?
You're the teacher's pet, that's it, isn't it, Dr. Hazel?
Dairy.
Goodness.
Close.
Carbs, proteins. Wow, what's wrong with me?
Have we been here this whole time?
Oh, you didn't say the third one. That's a trick question.
Yeah.
Fats. That's what I thought.
Fats.
That's what I thought.
I didn't want to say that because it's rude to say. So I just wanted to wait for you to say it. But yeah, we are.
Okay, we're not going to forget that again.
Yeah.
And what are vitamins?
A micronutrient.
Yeah, so that means we need it in smaller
Small
amounts.
doses, yeah.
Okay,
And we're in the UK where we get a lack of vitamin D, so it's good to have a supplement for that up until around May.
You remember that?
Bonus points.
Yeah, you did the thing. Up until about March. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Very good.
I
Very
won't
good.
say
April.
anything.
But if he says March, I'll say April.
Okay, and so if I was, thinking about how I can support my mood and my brain health, what kind of diet do I want?
Mediterranean.
Yes. And what do we
How
see in
would
the
I not get
Mediterranean
that?
diet?
Say that again,
What
sorry?
kind of foods do we see in the Mediterranean diet?
Salads,
Fish.
nuts, olives, olive oil, fish, meats.
Perfect. Love it.
Get me?
And
Colours.
less sugar and wine and processed
course,
foods and things like that.
course.
And
Glad
so
you said it.
coming on to processed foods, what about frozen foods?
Oh, it's good sometimes. Actually, when it comes to fruits, it's actually better to have your fruits frozen.
Because if they're sitting on the shelf, they actually
Lose out on the nutrients.
Yeah. So if you're frozen, you're actually.
Wow, how did I not do this good at school then? What's going on? What's wrong with
We
you?
never learned this at school. We didn't have Dr. Hazel. And this has just been about,
Bridging the gap.
and this has just been 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Now imagine if this was every day and we actually learned this in school.
Okay, and so you're sitting down to make a healthy, balanced meal. What's your plate going to look like? In
Quarter
terms of-
protein,
Quarter
carbs.
carbohydrates and the
The
rest
rest, just
vegetables.
vegetables.
Yeah.
Okay.
However, whatever you want.
And if you're doing some exercise, what might you want to increase?
The
Calories.
carbs.
Yeah, okay.
What was the correct answer there? Because that's a calorie.
That's the carbs.
It's both.
It's both.
Calories.
We're both right. Yeah.
Cool, I think that gives you like, what, a 9 out of 10?
I'll say 10 out of 10.
That's a 10. Yeah.
I think you're being a bit
9.5?
harsh.
Just a little bit. But I'll take a 9.5.
Yeah.
Plus
Okay.
0.5.
But don't you think you're going anywhere? We have questions for you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like that.
What should we ask her?
What's the metatarsal?
Yeah.
The doctor, innit?
What is what's a conductor?
A conductor? Like a music conductor?
No, train.
Well, yeah, thank you very much.
Very welcome.
Dr. Hazel, you have clued us up on food, and I am forever grateful. And yeah, maybe you know what? Carbs ain't so bad. How about that?
Depending on you as a person and your movement. Because if you have loads of carbs and you decide to stay in bed and watch Netflix all day, it's not great, is it?
Not every day.
Knock knock.
Is there?
Doctor.
Doctor Who.
Dr. Hazel. Great episode.
Ow.
More calories.
What?
That wouldn't hurt if you had more carbs.
That doesn't even make sense. But thank you very much. We actually have learnt quite a bit today. You have any last questions for Dr. Hazel?
No, I'm happy. Thanks for teaching us everything there is to know and everything we weren't taught at school.
There you go. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. That's been Dr. Hazel, and we've been actually bridging the gap.
You get me? Vitamins are micronutrients.
Any last things you want to say, Dr. Hazel?
Not really. If people want to find out more about food and nutrition, they can find me on social media under The Food Medic. I also have a podcast called The Food Medic and books called The Food Medic and The Food Medic for Life.
There you go, Food Medic. Everything is in the description down below. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I've been Chunkz, and he's been,
Alhan.
and you've been.
Dr. Hazel.
And vitamins have been micronutrients for a long time.
Since they were actually brought up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When they left the room.